Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Logic Medico. Today's interesting topic is Eustachian tube. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I request you to subscribe to my channel and press the bell button for the latest notification. So what is this Eustachian tube? As you would have guessed, this is a tube which connects the pharynx with the middle ear cavity. So we'll see the details of the Eustachian tube. What is this Eustachian tube made up of? What are the other names of Eustachian tube? Why it is called Eustachian tube? What is the function of the Eustachian tube? So why middle ear infection happens in pediatric age group more commonly than adults? We'll see all this in this video. Come on to the first step. Eustachian tube. This is the Eustachian tube you are seeing. It is a narrow passage leading from the pharynx into the middle ear cavity or the tympanic cavity. It permits air to enter from the pharynx, that is the nasopharynx, into the middle ear cavity. So what? Therefore, helping in equalization of the pressure on either side of the eardrum or tympanic membrane. That is the Eustachian tube. So what is the other names of the Eustachian tube? What is it also called as? It is also called as auditory tube. Why? Just now I told it maintains the pressure within the middle ear so that the air outside and the air inside the tympanic membrane will be almost of equal pressure, so that the tympanic membrane is neither too stiff nor it is lax. So when the tympanic membrane is in optimum position, the person is able to hear with more clarity. So therefore it is helping in audition or hearing. Therefore the other name of Eustachian tube is auditory tube. It is also called by another name. It's called pharyngotympanic tube. Pharyngotympanic tube is straightforward. It connects the pharynx, to be specific nasopharynx, to the middle ear cavity, also called tympanic cavity. When it connects pharynx to tympanic cavity, what will you call it as? Pharyngotympanic tube. It connects the nasopharynx to the tympanic cavity. So from where to where does it exist? From the nasopharynx to the tympanic cavity or the middle ear. Do you know why it's called Eustachian tube? Because it was discovered by an anatomist in 16th century. His name is Bartolomeo Eustachian. So in credit of his name, since he discovered this tube connecting to the middle ear cavity, the name of this anatomist is recognized even now as Eustachian tube. The length of the Eustachian tube is 35 mm. It is from the pharynx to the middle ear cavity. It is 35 mm or 3.5 centimeters. The diameter of the Eustachian tube, because it's a tube, it will have diameter, it is 3 mm. Next, it contains two parts. The lateral part of the outer part, which is closer to the bone. Can you see this bone marrow here? So it's closer to the middle ear cavity. It's nearer to the middle ear. The outer 2/3 of this is bony part of the Eustachian tube. It is 12 mm in length. Whereas the inner part or the medial part, which is closer to the pharynx, that is cartilaginous part. It is made up of elastic cartilage. The inner 2/3 is 24 mm in length. So totally it will become 36 mm. That is equal to the length of the Eustachian tube. So outer part, why it is bony? When it is close to bone, that is the pittrous part of temporal bone, it should be bony. The inner part, why it is cartilaginous? When it is closer to the soft tissue, nasopharynx, it should be soft. So thereby the logic, the outer part, the outer 1/3 is bony, the inner 2/3 is cartilaginous. The reverse is true in case of external auditory canal. You can see one of my video on the external auditory canal, you will understand. The outer 1/3 is closer to the pinna, which is elastic cartilage. So thereby external auditory canal will be, outer 1/3 will be cartilaginous, whereas the inner 2/3 of the external auditory canal is bony. Why? When it is within the bone, it should be bony. You can see that video in one of my videos. Okay. Functions of this Eustachian tube. Coming to the next aspect. So what do you think is the function of the eustachian tube? Eustachian tube helps in ventilation of middle ear. So the air can enter the middle ear cavity only from eustachian tube. Why? Why is this? The lateral wall of the middle ear is formed by tympanic membrane. It is an intact membrane. Air cannot enter through that into the middle ear cavity unless there is one perforation. Otherwise, usually middle ear cavity is sealed off. The superior wall, the inferior wall, the medial wall, it's formed by the cochlea, all are bony walls. In fact, the anterior wall is also bony. Within that anterior wall, there is an opening for this tube. You can see that clearly here. So this opening is connected to the nasopharynx. So through nasopharynx, air enters into the middle ear cavity. So it is acting like a ventilation pipe, like a window for your middle ear. Therefore, it causes pressure equalization on either side of this eardrum or the tympanic membrane. The other function of the eustachian tube involves drainage of the mucus from the middle ear. Why mucus is there in the middle ear? There are ossicles in the middle ear. There are muscles in the middle ear. There are nerve plexus in the middle ear. All of this will be carpeted by a mucous membrane, which is lined by a ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. These goblet cells are unicellular glands which produces mucus for lubrication of all these structures. This mucus has to be drained through eustachian tube into the nasopharynx. On minute to minute basis, it is being drained. If at all there is an obstruction to this eustachian tube, two things can happen. One, ventilation of the middle ear will be affected. Two, accumulation of the mucus will happen, resulting in otitis media, that is infection of middle ear. This mucus which accumulates over here acts as a base for the bacteria to grow over there. So thereby eustachian tube provides a very important role for the middle ear cavity or tympanic cavity. In fact, the optimum position of the tympanic membrane is also because of the ventilation caused by the eustachian tube. Come to the muscles acting on the eustachian tube. These muscles are the muscles of the soft palate. They are called like this: tensor veli palatini, levator veli palatini. Palatini here refers to the soft palate. Tensor means it causes a tension in the soft palate. It causes stiffening in the soft palate. Levator, as the name suggests, causes elevation of the soft palate. Veli refers to action of the eustachian tube. These muscles of the soft palate will cause dilatation of the eustachian tube or opening of the eustachian tube. So when it opens, the air can enter the middle ear cavity and the mucus can drain out of the middle ear cavity. That is the purpose of these muscles. So when do you think these muscles will contract? When do you think the eustachian tube will open? Any guesses? If you are told chewing, that is the correct answer. So whenever you are going in a flight, either while takeoff or while landing, you will be instructed that you are about to land or you are about to take off. That is because you should be able to maintain the pressure in the middle ear cavity. That's why they give some chewing gum to chew so that the eustachian tube opens up. Otherwise, you will get ache in your ear. Okay, that is because of too much of retraction of the tympanic membrane. So other places where it can open, eustachian tube, any other movement when it can open. If you are told swallowing, then it is a correct answer. Whenever we swallow either food or a liquid or the saliva, during that time the eustachian tube opens. So when it opens, it can ventilate the middle ear and mucus can come out of the middle ear. One more place is there, one more event is there during which eustachian tube opens. Any guesses? I'll do like that. It's habitual condition. It's called yawning. Whenever you yawn, that time air enters into the middle ear cavity, the tympanic membrane becomes optimum and you can hear better. So this usually happens in the class if you have closed your mouth for more than 30 minutes. That time there is no ventilation. So you will start yawning. The teacher feels you are actually sleeping. In fact, you are not sleeping, you are trying to hear the teacher better, because when you yawn, air will enter into the middle ear cavity
and makes this tympanic membrane optimum so that you can hear better. That is the purpose of yawning. So why do we yawn when we get up from the bed? Same reason. You have slept, right? You are not swallowing or chewing while sleeping, right? So when I get up after a long time, the air in the middle ear is reduced. Then you will yawn so that air enters the middle ear and you can hear better from the surrounding area. You can hear much better than actually you are hearing. That is a function of yawning. Hope you learned a new thing. Come to the development of the eustachian tube. Eustachian tube actually develops from the endoderm. There will be two pouches, the first endodermal pouches and the second endodermal pouch. This can also be called as pharyngeal pouch. Both these pouch unites to form one structure. It is called like this, tubotympanic recess. So this tubotympanic recess bulges outwards towards the external auditory canal and the ossicular area. It is termed like this, tubotympanic recess. So this tubotympanic recess has got a fate. So what is it? Initially, this tubotympanic recess is like a balloon-like structure. Subsequently, the outer part of the distal part dilates to form a cubical chamber called the tympanic cavity, whereas the proximal part becomes tubular or narrow and it becomes a tube, and the tube is eustachian tube. So therefore, both the eustachian tube and the mucous membrane of the tympanic cavity is developed from a recess called as tubotympanic recess. It is developed from endoderm. Proof: the entire GIT mucosa is developed from endoderm. Pharynx also belongs to the GIT. So eustachian tube is opening into the inside of your body, right? Its pharynx is inside or outside? Inside. So therefore, it is endodermal. The eustachian tube is derived from endodermal derivative called as tubotympanic recess. Come to the last aspect, otitis media. It is common in a child who is less than 7 years of age. Why is that? There are so many reasons for that. Three basic reasons are: eustachian tube is shorter in a child. We told in adult it is 35 mm, right? But in a child it would be less than 2 centimeters. So it is shorter. So when it's shorter and more horizontal, in adult it is oblique like this. What is oblique? When it is not vertical, when it is not transverse, then the structure will be called as oblique. In adult, the eustachian tube is more oblique. So think of a tube in adults which is longer and more oblique. So whenever they are eating some food or anything, the infection cannot come into the eustachian tube like that. Whereas in child who is actually breastfed, then it's shorter and more horizontal, it's shorter and more straighter. So obviously the infection can reach the middle ear more often than not, causing infection of the middle ear. Otitis media means infection of the middle ear. Otitis, oto refers to ear, itis means inflammation. So inflammation of ear. Media refers to the people between the politicians and the public. So the media here refers to the middle ear, between the external ear and internal ear. So otitis media is inflammation of middle ear. But happens more often than not in child who is less than 3 years of age. Why? Eustachian tube is shorter and more horizontal in pediatric age group. While some of the authors don't agree with this, it is not because of this eustachian tube itself, it is due to the immunity which is low. So obviously the child who is less than 7 years of age is not exposed to all the infection in this world. So their immunity is extremely low, so they are susceptible to infections. So few authors argue that it is not the eustachian tube which is causing them, it is the immunity. So as a student, you have to agree with all this because we are student. So eustachian tube is shorter, eustachian tube is horizontal, and the immunity of the child is low. All these three reasons results in otitis media in pediatric. So in summary, eustachian tube, it is also called as auditory tube because it helps in audition or hearing. It connects the nasopharynx with the tympanic cavity, so it's called as pharyngotympanic tube. It is 35 mm in length, 3 mm in diameter. This tube helps in the ventilation of the middle ear cavity along with drainage of the mucus from the middle ear into the pharynx, thereby helping in maintaining the pressure on either side of the tympanic membrane. Like this video and share this video with your family and friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and recommend this channel to your other friends. Press the bell button to get the latest notification of videos. Thank you for learning once again from the channel.